tell me what are the different types of licenses that you have used in Power BI or that we have?
So we have a free license, free of cost license that is up to applicable for 60 days free. Then we have a pro license. Then we have premium license, wherein we have two types of licenses, that is premium per user, and we have that is on demand, like we can have bulk purchases as per our requirement.
So which license you guys are using in your organizations?
So on enterprise level, we have using pro license, pay per use.
So what's the advantage of that in your use case?
So the advantage of that is that you are able to collaborate and share the reports, dashboards with premium users, and you don't have to pay that is $20 per month per user. So and we do not have much developers as of now. So it becomes cost effective for us to invest that amount.
Okay, fine. So now, for example, suppose you mentioned that there's 20 million records that you have used. So in our organization, we have 100 millions that's coming. Okay, and our users often raise a question that my performance of the reports are not that great. So what steps will you take to optimize it?
So in order to optimize the dashboards, we will use proper, I mean, we will load the only relevant columns in the Power BI. Okay, we will try to use import mode only, because whatever the data is relevant and the columns are relevant, that only will be loaded in the Power BI. So that will improve the performance. Whereas in compared to direct mode, wherein the direct source data will be huge. So that will take much time, or performance issues will be there for loading. And secondly, we can use incremental refresh whenever we are refreshing the data for the dashboard, because if we have to refresh every time 10 million data every time as per the scheduled refresh, then it will be difficult or it may hamper the performance. Hence, incremental refresh is what we can recommend.
Okay, nothing in terms of calculated fields.
Yeah, so again, we will use an optimized DAX function instead of the calculated columns, because calculated columns will again store the further columns in the database. So that will again increase the size of the data. So in order to avoid that, we will use the tax measures, which will help us to know on the fly whenever there are the data is refreshed on the fly, the requirement will be dashboards will be refreshed.
Okay. So suppose I have a company and that company has around 3 departments, HR, IT, and finance. And you need to apply row level security so that employees only see their particular department's data. However, some managers needs to access multiple departments. How will you achieve that?
So row level security, we can have a modeling tab in the Power BI desktop. We can define the user role in that and assign respective regions, departments to the respective users. Also, along with that, we can also have a static and dynamic row level security, wherein for a particular user or managers who wants to see all the departments data, we can assign that all the regions to them using the modeling view tab and assign the roles accordingly. And all the locations will, all the departments will be visible to that particular manager.
But how will you solve this problem statement that my employees will see only their department's data? However, managers would be able to see multiple departments. So
Yes.
dynamic row level security, how will you do?
So in that, we can go to Power BI service. Then we have a security setting in the data set. And in that, where a classes will be there, we can click on that and we can go to user row level defined user row level security, wherein we can also have a predefined data into SQL or whatever the Excel file we are loaded in the Power BI, wherein we can define the user name and their email IDs, and we can pass on that condition to the user email IDs so that they can see only particular these email IDs will be only using but
So what is the
seeing
DAX
the
that you will write?
so DAX for it is user principal.
Right. So basically, you will create an entitlement table. This is very important. So you will have to create an entitlement table, and then instead of a direct relationship, you have to use a bridge table to manage one-to-many relationships between the users and the departments. And that you will be able to achieve by you have to create a DAX function, like with the user email as user principal name function,
Principal name, yes.
right? Suppose you created a DAX measure that calculates like sum of sales, but when you apply a filter, a total row shows incorrect values, or not the sum of the values are visible in the rows. So why do you think it is happening, and how will you fix it?
Could you repeat the question first?
So you created a DAX measure that
DAX
calculates sum of sales.
sum
Okay.
of sales. Okay.
But when you apply a filter, the total row shows incorrect values. Why this is happening, and how will you fix it?
So so what kind of filters you are referring to here? If
Means this DAX that I'm using, I'm trying to use it as a filter as well.
so if you are using DAX for to sum of sales and after filtering it showing wrong this it, so the reason could be in the DAX function we have not used the distinct count rows maybe in the filter, or it could be the reason that there are some null values in the sales.
Are you aware about context transition in DAX?
No.
You might check on this. Okay. So basically, the solution over here is that instead of sum function, we can use SUMX function. Okay. Because this issue occurs generally because of context transition. The total row in a table does not sum individual row results, but evaluates the measure in a different filter context. Okay. Alternative use is like you can use has one value function as well to fix the totals. Okay. This is if you are phased only, then you would be able to handle this. Otherwise, it's a little bit complex question. Uh, so normally, how do you handle multiple date fields in a model? So
Multiple
suppose
date fields, yeah.
a data
Sorry.
set has two date columns, order date and suppose say shipment date. You
Mhm.
need to allow users to switch between the dates dynamically in the reports. Then how will you handle this in Power BI?
So basically, as a best practice, we create a calendar table for this to resolve this issue
Mhm.
and we create a modeling between date tables and the order date maybe.
Mhm.
So this will help us to get the dates from the date table itself, so that there is no issue. Users can do any dates so that they will be able to get the desired results on
So
that.
what is the DAX you will use for creating calendar table?
So for creating calendar, I'll just mention that measure name as a table name as a master date, and we'll use calendar or calendar auto
Hmm.
on that. So if you're using calendar, then we'll use the calendar date, minimum calendar date of the order date. Sorry, minimum date of the order date, and we'll close the bracket, and again we'll use the max date from the
Yeah,
order
so the
date.
date type, order
Yeah.
date, and shipment date you have
Yes.
done. Then how
Yes.
will the user be able to switch between the dates? What is
Then
the
we
other
will
DAX?
have to do a modeling in the date table between date table and the order table, and accordingly we'll assign one to many relation between the both the tables.
So that is what the question. How will you do that modeling? Means, what is that? You
So
need to create a calculated field for
I'll
that,
place
right?
the order. Sorry.
So to switch between the dates, okay, I will have to create one calculated field. The user wants to switch between the dates. Now you have created a calendar.
Yes.
So independent selected table you have created, for example.
Yes.
Now you have to switch between the dates. That once I want to see my data based on order date, another time I want to see the data based on the shipment date. So I will select that.
So there is another two relations we can do. One is active and primary and secondary relationship. So basically, once I put the date to the order date, and then again the same date can be put on the shipment date. So that second relation will be on a dotted day, and whenever I want to switch date, we can click on that.
But don't you think we need to create a calculated field like selected date, and we have to use a switch function over there? Switch of selected value, whatever date selected I'm using, and then we need to switch between the order date and the shipment date. The order date will show max of order date, say from the sales table maybe, and maybe the shipment date will be the max of shipment date from the sales table. So a
Yeah, and
switch case will be necessary, right?
switch case I have used, but not for this particular scenario and date
Okay,
switch.
fine, fine, that's fine. So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years of time?
Yeah, so the next 5 years, since I have learned the SQL and Power BI analytical tools, I further want to grow these learning skills into Azure Data Factory or Azure Snowflake, etc. And in the next 3 to 4, I want to expertise more on my skills and knowledge and go to the next level as a project manager, the IT field, since I have carrying more than 10 years of experience. So I would like to focus on that skill as well and grow up to the ladder.
Okay, good. Thank you, Vikas, for your time. So I'm done with the round. If you want to have a glass of water, you can have. We'll start with the feedback session.